Well, good morning, Lydia. How's it
Hi, Sarah.
going?
How are you?
Doing great.
The
It's
chilly
a little
morning.
different for us to be talking in the morning instead of in the afternoon. I almost said good
Absolutely.
afternoon.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
So, I was going to say we're going to talk about our updates on our forbearance, and so you start first because you've got some good data to give.
of course, I love the numbers anyway. So yeah,
You're my
and
numbers
that's
girl.
and Lydia's absolutely right. We've been watching these numbers very closely over the last bunch of weeks or months. We've been doing this a while. And, after about 4 weeks ago, we had our first 2 weeks of increases, of forbearance number increases. And that's a little alarming. And so we were really watching what was going to happen next. We stayed flat the following week. Now, last week, we actually did decrease again. So that's always the good news. We dropped down the total mortgage loans and forbearance dropped from 5.54% to 5.48%, or down to roughly 2.7 million borrowers. So it's going down, but that's still, a sizable number.
Yep.
And while people are leaving their forbearance plans, more people are leaving through a loan modification versus getting caught up and things like that, which indicates that not everyone has been able to get caught back up, and even if they're working. So that's one of those things that they're noticing, is that we're having those increases in kind of struggling on the exit. And another point to make here is the initial forbearance requests actually increased to their highest level since August 2nd. And the servicer requests, whether a renewal or an initial, increased to the highest point since April 19th. Now, Lydia, I was thinking as I read that, I'm like, maybe people are watching our videos and making those calls because we're inspiring them to do so.
Yeah.
Or there's the fact that the unemployment numbers are not, they're not where the experts predicted. They are improving very slowly. So that's
Yeah.
probably more of a reason, but we can
Yeah.
take some credit. And so just to break it down by stage, the total forbearance numbers, so it's just under 19% are in their initial stage, just under
Okay.
79% are on extension. So that's the vast majority, and we've talked about that. A lot of them are
Yep.
are pretty far in, like they've been in for say 6, 8, as
Right.
we're now 9 months in. And then about 2.5% of the borrowers are re-entries back into the program.
Right.
So to go into the second thing I wanted to talk about was of the, just to kind of give you an overall picture of all the forbearance exits from June 1st through December 6th, about 30% throughout the entire program continued to make their payments.
Yep.
16% were caught up upon exit. So we're looking at about 46% of people in forbearance are caught up or stayed current, so that's a sizable number. We like seeing that.
Right.
However, the number that we're really looking at, that's going to be the one that is most important, I think, to everybody who's really watching what's going to happen in this industry, is the number, is 13% of the exits within, like I said, June 1st through December 6th, exited the program behind on their payments and with no loss mitigation plan in place. So they just exited the program. Sometimes, if you didn't renew, that could happen. But those are the things. So if we're saying 13%, now this is going to be the group that really is going to want to have a lot of assistance so they know what's going on out there, because with the expirations coming up, but we'll cover that in a minute. My third point that I really wanted to spend a moment on is, the CARES Act created a lot of protections for homeowners and for renters. However, as we're getting real close to the expiration on the eviction moratoriums for those struggling renters, they're going to be very exposed. And, you look at the provisions for a homeowner, they're considerably more extensive. Borrowers in forbearance have the benefit of time,
Right.
and if you've been in, you have time because of the forbearance plan gave you time. And then additionally, even if you weren't, they weren't in a plan, even if they go through the foreclosure process, they have 6 months. You have 3
Right.
months of being late, and then 3 months after it's been announced. So you really look at it, renters don't have that flexibility. Renters don't have, when that eviction comes down, that's it. They don't have the
Right,
benefit of the time. And so
right.
that's where, another benefit than looking at home, this is another benefit of homeownership. This is
Mhm.
another reason why, owning a house, there are a lot more protections right now, and that is a big deal. And then even as you look at where there's a lot of people who are afraid of, what's going to happen, prices, everything. Let me just say this. There's 6,700 active listings, excluding, with contingencies, or backup offers. 6,700. You know that to
Yeah,
be healthy, 25,000 is where we should be.
yeah,
So the numbers are dwindling. Prices are going to continue to rise, and that's only going to benefit people who are, whether or not they're struggling. But if they're homeowners, they have the option to sell. And so
absolutely.
there's just stuff going on, and that's
That's
where it's
that's
like, we know
literally,
what's happening. Yeah.
yeah, that's literally like what did you say? Like 41 days of inventory, and that's it. And that's not, we need a few months of inventory to actually make it an even market. So
Definitely.
that definitely, I mean, if you have a forbearance and you're not sure what to do, that is one option for you, is to sell your home, because there are still a lot of buyers out there.
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yep.
the demand is outpacing the supply so significantly.
Yep. Yep. And so a couple of things that I wanted to talk about too is, Sarah had mentioned how many days last week, how many business days we had last week before the end of the year. Um, we're assuming that they're going to extend the CARES Act, or extend it. We're not really sure how it's going to be extended, or what the extent of it's going to be. But we have 11 days, including Christmas Eve, right, for business days before it's done. So people really need to get cooking, as far as, let's figure out what your game plan is. 11 business days left in the year, so, which isn't much.
Right.
So
It's not at all.
exactly. So as a servicing company, as I work with a servicing company, I like to kind of see each week how my inspections are going and how many I'm getting. I was getting a little bit of a lull for a couple of weeks, but then end of last week and then Monday, I got 6 in one day, and
Wow. That's a lot.
which is a lot. And then I got a couple of yesterday. So far, I've only had one. They just sent me another one. So as the day goes on, I will sometimes get more and more. So the reason why I bring that up is just because I think between now and the end of the year, until we know what the extension is going to be, if there is going to be an extension, or what that's going to look like for homeowners, um, there will be more and more inspections, because those are the ones that, like you said, are starting to exit without a game plan, and they're already behind. So those are the ones that we're a little concerned about, that we want to really help. Um, they're also staying in my portal a little bit longer, which I suspect, back in August, September, when I first started getting these, as soon as I would put them in, they would check them off and get rid of them out of the portal. Now they're lasting a little bit longer. And I think what's happening is, I think the servicing company is getting busier on their side. So they're not able to check them off as quickly as they were back a few months ago. And I
That
think
makes
as we get,
sense.
yeah, and as we get closer to the end of the year, I think that's just going to take longer and longer, because they are working overtime in that department. So
Yeah.
a few good options for us, since we do have such low inventory, is, and especially here in Arizona, and if you live in a state where maybe your time frame is a little bit longer, like I have a mastermind group that I work with. One of the gals is in Minnesota, and they don't have a long foreclosure. So
Interesting.
her and I were talking about it earlier this week. If they end up in a situation where they do have a forbearance, they literally will go into foreclosure like really quick. So those folks in some of those other states have to be really careful about that. We here in Arizona, and there's a few states like us that take a little bit longer, which is actually a good thing
It's a
for the homeowners.
benefit.
It's a
Yeah.
benefit, yeah. So like you said, it's a benefit for having a homeowner, being a homeowner. Some options that they can do, and this was my last point that I wanted to talk about, was some options that they could have is they can just downsize, sell their bigger home, downsize to a smaller home, take the equity out of their home, because most people at this point have equity, but some of them may not know it. They can also, to get caught up, they can use their 401k or retirement funds that they can pay themselves back. I would highly recommend talking to either your financial advisor, CPA, because everybody's got a different plan and it works a little different. So talk to someone before you just pull money out and pay off your debt. One option that's a really good option if you want to keep your home is move out of it and use it as a rental. Rentals are like sky high right now, and you can get top dollar for them, which is awesome.
Absolutely. There's
and
single family rentals are under humongous demand.
Yes, really a lot, because there's a lot of people moving here from other states that want to buy, but they want to see the area, they want to see where they want to move to. So they have to get into something because their jobs are transferring them right away, but they don't want to buy quite yet. So that might be a good option for someone. 3, 6, or 12-month rental for your house. You could get top dollar for it. The other thing would be just to sell it, take the equity out of it, and then rent for a little while, regroup, reorganize your finances, figure out if you're going back to work, if you're on furlough still. Everybody's in a different situation with the COVID. So it's a case by case situation. So I would highly recommend, before you panic, sell, or panic and just give your home to one of those iBuyers there's tons of them in Arizona right now, and they're all trying to pounce on the people that are freaked out. So let's take a breath, step back and take a breath, and let's figure out what would be best for you, because ideally you don't want to leave money on the table. You don't want to give up some of that equity because there's so much of it out there for you. So even if you don't have a lot of equity, there's still some, and some is better than none. Yes. So I would highly recommend talking to someone. Sarah and I are in the business of home ownership. So we want to keep you in your home or get you into a home that you can afford. That might be a little bit better situation. The other thing that I'll mention real quick too is that we didn't talk about earlier, Sarah, was refinancing. That's another option.
Right.
Yeah, but you have to make 3 consecutive payments, and you have to get caught up before you can do that refinance. And rates are still low right now. I mean, it's the lowest it's ever been. So if you haven't refinanced yet, now is the time to refinance. And
absolutely,
if you can get those 3 consecutive payments in, or say you've already started making your first payment and you only have 2 more, or you've made 2 payments and you only have 1 more, talk to one of us. We'll get you hooked up with a lender to get you refinanced.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All those are great tips, on where you are throughout the stages.
Yep. So that's what we have for this week. And you and I are both going to be on a Freddie call tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yes.
So we'll definitely have more information for you next week for sure.
Yes. As we're watching closely and getting closer and closer to that timeline. So yes, we'll be back with more next week.
Yep. Well, thanks, Sarah, and I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Lydia.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.